Unless you've been living under a complete rock, you'd have seen so many people out there now talking about increase your sales, increase your revenue. And it's so hard as a business owner to know what exactly it is that you need. And that's why I wanted to record this video. For well over 20 years, I've insider sales. Now, that is no guarantee that we can help you. But what it does mean is we have seen the trends that come and go. We've seen the great people turn up that seem to tell us the right thing, but actually they don't deliver the results. So what makes what we do here different? Well, to be completely frank, and until I know about your business, I don't know. And what I wanted to do today was break down a little bit on here to save us even having a call to see if this can give you a bit of insight on what can work. So we're helping companies now go from 30K a month to over 250K a month inside of 6 months without increasing their ad spend, without just trying to double down on get more leads, because who's got time for that? I don't know about you, but most people I know don't want to just work harder. They want to make more money from the pot they're already getting, or they're looking to scale it out. Another prime example, one of our great companies that was with us that was already doing well. And this is the two ends that we work with. The solo founder that's doing 30K a month in solo that's struggling to get to 250 to have a team and get their time back. To the bigger companies that are already doing 600K a month. And they could sit on their laurels. They've already got a system and they're already doing well. But after 4 months of working with us, maybe 5, they've gone from 600K a month to £1.7 million a month. Now, why is us coming in made all the difference? Well, I want you to think of things a little bit differently. It's not just about putting more leads in the system. It's actually about getting more from the leads you've got and getting conversions up. So more of the meetings that you sit convert into high paying clients. It's why our program Conversations to Clients actually launched. And you'll probably see, and you'll hear this, now I've said about it so much more, there's a huge amount of people that are now talking about this subject. And because it's the smartest way to make money. And here's the big breakdown that I want to share with you on here on how and why this makes a difference. Now, our whole way of selling over the last 3 years has completely transformed by probably 75%. And that's because of the implementation of AI. Now, just because AI is here doesn't mean you can outsource everything you need from the thinking and the actions and it'll make you more money. People are craving better conversations. People are overwhelmed now in what do I buy and how do I not get screwed over? And this is how building out more of an aligned process within your business makes it far easier. And what happens with most businesses, they'll have some degree of leads coming in. They'll have an appointment setting conversation, they'll have a closing conversation, they might have some degree of follow-up. And the problem that we've got with this at the moment is this is probably a 3-minute conversation. This might be an hour. It might be an hour and a half. Let's say it's 90 minutes. But what you've got as a big issue is this might have been the first time that they've spoke to someone. First time they've even applied to you. They don't even know who you are. So you've had a little brief conversation where you've asked basic qualification questions to make sure they've got a pulse. And then you've gone through into the next meeting of closing. And what happens when you get to the end of this stage, you get all the objections. I need to think about it. I want to wait a bit longer. Does that sound familiar? And that's because when you're talking about the thermometer, and excuse my drawing, it is horrific, of interest, isn't hot enough for your prospects to buy. I want you to imagine for a moment, let's say they need to be at 85 degrees for them to pull the trigger on your product or your service. Now, if they're coming at this first stage for the lead in, they've had a little bit of a conversation on the appointment setting stage. That's got them to here. Let's say they're now at 30%. You're putting all the pressure on this conversation to do all of this work to get them to a stage that they can buy happily, confidently, walking towards you, throwing their money at them. This is a huge amount of pressure. In here, you're telling them new things, giving them new ideas. And when you get to the end of it, this is when the pressure feels like it kicks in. That increases resistance and reduces the flow of the conversation. So how are we going to fix this? Well, actually, there's a number of areas that we need to manage to fix. And this is where it gets really interesting. Instead of sitting at the stage here, but you've got the old school way of doing things, you've got to make sure you've got two parts of the business. You've got your lead in section, you've got the appointment setting stage, and that stage and that stage. As you can tell, this is a lot longer. And that's because in each part of here, we're going to have big gaps within our sales process currently. And this is all what needs fixing. So the DMZ is the dead man zone. This is a longer version of your appointment setting stage, which means we can have a shorter version of the closing stage, and then you've got an aligned follow-up process. This removes a huge amount of the pressure from your prospects, and we fill in these gaps with some seamless and high-performing automations, text, or email, video, all the things that are going to talk directly to the problems, the pain points, the beliefs, and the misconceptions that those people have. And as these get chipped away throughout this conversation, this just leads to the key points where the human interaction's happening. This means once we've got in here and there's an 8 to 10 minute good conversation that talks around beliefs, problems, pain points, and misconceptions, this will take that thermometer of interest, and then you'll have the same lead in stage. The appointment setting stage will actually get them nearer to that 60% interest on the thermometer, meaning when they get to the closing stage, it's far easier to get them well past that 85 degrees, meaning your conversions go up. So if we look at some of the clients that we've had, some of these people, when they were having their businesses, like Sheffield Renewables, great company, but they were closing at around 15% of the people that they sat a meeting for that they would convert. This meant over the space of a month, they were closing only around 3, sometimes 4 clients a month. So they're doing a huge amount of work, but just not getting it out. After we'd installed our system, they had the best month of 63%, averaging out at 50% of those appointments. Now, did they increase their lead flow? Yeah, they did eventually, but only once they were getting the best out of it. And this resulted in going from doing 30K per month to over £220,000 per month. And this happened inside of 4 to 6 months. Now, if that sounds like you, amazing. If this sounds like the sort of thing you want help with, amazing. But here's where it gets super interesting. Once we've got a company like that, and now they've got a system and a process all built for them, and we've trained them up, we've also built them out the training manuals, the pitches, the processes, the whole 9 yards. So what you can then do is just increase. You can increase appointment setters. You can increase the closures. So their ability now to go from the 220K per month, all they've got to do is once, for example, they're in solar, increase the install team. They can just add more people in. And all that's going to do is keep the same conversions and take that revenue forward. That's how they're going to go to 400K. That's how they can keep moving forward. All SolarWorks down in Worthing was a prime example. They went from 50K a month to 250K a month to 550K a month inside of 2.5 years. And that's because with the systems in place and all the skills in the right way, it makes it easier. Now, a lot of business owners at the moment, they're stuck in the sales process. They don't even want to be in the sales process, but they've got no choice because you've tried everything you can think of and it leaves you frustrated, tired, and working your ass off. Now, if that sounds like you, the best thing you can do is get in touch and let me take over this for you. We'll make all of this go away and we can help get you out of the sales process. That might be your, at the moment, say 50K per month. So the business is doing fine. First goal is going to be tier 1 to get you up to that 100 to 120K per month. Once you've got to tier 1, you'll have all the system, the processes all in place, which means tier 2, you can start scaling out with people like an appointment setter, a closer, or something similar. That's going to get you up to around the 160 mark. And then for tier 3, you might be at the stage for your tier 3 that you want to completely get out of the sales process. So then you end up with the appointment setter and the closer, or it might end up being that you end up with 2 appointment setters and a closer. And most of these on low basic, high commission, fully trained. And this can then take you up to £250,000 to 400K per month mark. That gets you your time back, your peace back, your sanity back, but it doesn't mean that the company gets diluted. It still gets to be great. Now, you've just got to be coachable. You've just got to be in the mindset that you want to learn and grow. And by putting in the work for the next couple of months, putting in the effort and letting us do all the heavy lifting, it will become easier. Now, you remember earlier I said about that bigger company that's gone from 600K to 1.7 million. So they're already established. Fantastic company, great leadership. They've actually got good people. They've got systems and processes. And they were already sat at £600,000 per month in sales. So 7 million-ish per year. Sounds pretty good. Now, it would be easy to be sat at that stage and go, we don't need help. But here's what the smart people realized. If you've got 15 areas of the business that are already doing well, getting you to this stage, go from here to the next level, you've got to make a lot of adjustments. But imagine if you've got 15 areas, and out of those 10 areas, you get a 10% increase, and out of 5 of those areas, you get maybe even a 15 to 20% increase. Once you get that combined, adding this in through compounding can give you a massive increase. And if you knew which screws to turn, you'd already have done it. And that's where the frustration comes from. A lot of the time, you've probably got a lot of experience in sales. You've already built the team, the business is doing well. And you think, well, what's this guy going to teach me? But at this moment, we don't know. But what we do is we look into it. Think of it like bringing in a part-time sales director for 3 to 6 months to help work with the existing team to make the adjustments and improvements. But they did this, and now at this stage, they're doing £1.7 million per month. Conversions are up, frustration's lower, the team's happier, they're wasting far less money on leads because they're converting more. And now the business is at the stage that with this, you're looking that is on target to make, what's that, around 14 million to 17 million, potentially even 18 million a year. That's incredible. But I genuinely believe with this company, this is going to be pushing up to another level, and that could be as high as £2.5 to £3.5 million over the space of the next couple of years per month. Because the systems and the processes are so aligned now, it's going to make it easier. So just because you've already got a business, just because you've already got results, don't be under some delusion that it can't get better. Because even if you've only got 5 of these, you might have one area, but 30% increase. We've had a company literally 2 weeks ago, where one of their junior teams in their outbound side that were hitting the phones on old data, contacting people. And they've changed the way they pitch, the way they have the conversations, the way they have the structures to make it feel more heartfelt, more professional, but without losing the personality of the team. And what they actually saw was a 36% increase in their conversions in the space of a week. 36%. Now you add that up over the space of a year to a business that's already doing £2 million a month. How quick your business can completely change. Now, here's the big thing I'll say before you go and book a call with us. You've got to be open to being coached. You've got to be open to making a bit of a change. And actually, it's not a massive amount of effort you're doing because you're already out working. You're already out selling. You or your team are already out there hitting the phones, having meetings, and trying to do your best. This is the plan. This is the way to move it forward. And think of it like if you've got 2 parts of your business. Think of it like if it was a Formula One race team. You're going to have the vehicle and you're going to have the drivers. The vehicle, if it isn't optimal, isn't going to be ready to get the fastest lap times and get the best wins. It might get around the track, but it doesn't mean it's working in the best possible way. Or on the flip side, you're going to have a great driver. You could have a good vehicle, but if you've got a one-eyed driver who's got a wonky right foot, he's not going to get the best out of it. So what we've got to be able to look at in most businesses, there are going to be improvements in both. So you've got to be able to first acknowledge that our vehicle isn't working to its potential. Not that it doesn't work, still getting around the track, but to its potential. And then you think, what could we do to improve the skills of the driver? And once you've got this all improved, you can then duplicate that team. You can just add more drivers, more drivers, more drivers, because the vehicle is repeatable. The conversions are repeatable and it's scalable. Here's what we're going to do for you as we do with every other person. Every vehicle is set up different. Every race team is set up different. Every company is set up different. So without me looking under the vehicle, looking inside of it, without speaking to you and speaking to the team, we're not going to be able to spot, find, and identify precisely what your business needs. If you're just looking for someone to give me more leads, we're not the people for you. We're actually the people you bring in to help you get it right. If you want to work less and make more in the long term, this is exactly for you. If you've tried everything and you're frustrated and you don't know what to implement next, this is likely for you. Maybe you've been on a group program and you're thinking, well, I've been involved in a sales program before. Great. It is brilliant that you've been out there and worked with other people already. But actually, what we're doing here is one-to-one. We are building a lot of this for you. We are tailoring a lot of this for you. We are doing all the work for you. All you've got to be out is having the conversations and following the guidance. This isn't about just getting you in with a community. Communities are great. But I don't know about you. I need something in my life that's going to get me to the next level. I want someone to do the heavy lifting. I want someone to get rid of and give me the cheat codes for exactly what I personally need in my business. I don't just want to sit in a room and listen to everyone else talk. I want that time in that when I talk to someone every single week to be focused on me selfishly in my business. I'm not saying these group programs don't work. They can work and they do give people some good confidence and they give you some of the frameworks. But then you've got to come out of that and do all the action steps. We want to do a load of that heavy lifting for you. And that takes me to the third part of this. If you're at the stage now, for example, that you're a one-man band, and you're at the stage where you don't even have a CRM, you don't have any automations going, you've got no text, you've got no video, you've got no booking system, you don't have videos that are getting sent out in the right way, you don't have a structure and a process, and you're relying on word of mouth. There's a second part to this where we actually have a full done for you service as well. The other part's done with you, keeps the cost down. But actually, we can build you out a fully done for you CRM, plus build out the pitches, the processes, and the training. So there's something here for most companies. You've just got to be open to investing some time, money, and effort into the business. And for most of you, what I need you to realize is this: the cost of inaction is far greater. Imagine if your business now, you were only losing one deal a week. How much money would that be costing you over the space of a month? Maybe you're losing one deal a day. That big company we were talking about earlier, their goal used to be 5 deals a day. Good days now, they're closing 17 to 20. And that's the cost of inaction for their business. Other companies, if you've got a low conversion rate and you're only converting at 15, 20, 25%, but your industry, you could be closing at 50, every single appointment that you're sitting, you're losing 1 in 2, but you could be closing 1 in 3. That's a huge amount of money. Now, the other part of the cost of inaction here is if you're stuck in the sales process and you don't have the system and the process in place, you're stuck in the weeds of the business. You don't have the ability to step out and you've got that big, long to-do list that you're getting stuck with all the time. That's what we want to help to fix. So if this sounds like it's something you want to work with, if this sounds like the ideal thing, if you feel like we're talking directly to you, either with the done for you, the larger company, or for the solo founder type business, get in touch. But here's what I do say to everyone. Even when you book a call, we will turn down probably 20% of the people because we don't think the business is a fit. We won't work with a business if you're selling something under a £1,000, £1,500 product or service. If we don't get the feeling that you're going to be coachable, we won't take you on. But book the call. This isn't about booking as many people in as possible. It's about getting in front of the right people to help them. The right people can make a massive difference. If I talk about people now, like Ray Grander over in New York, he worked with us when he worked in a partnership with a company and we took them from 6 to 10 million. He then went and set up another business, and from a zero standing start, hit $2.2 million in his first year because he was fully aligned. He was fully coachable. Imagine what that business could have done if he hadn't been coachable. It might have been 400K in the first year. So that cost of inaction would have been $1.8 million for him. And we need you to understand, when you book a call, one of two things is going to happen. One, you're going to be super pumped to get on a call and excited for change. Two, you're going to be like, oh, I don't want to get high pressured. We're not here to high pressure you into any of our products or any of our services. But if you book a call, make sure you show up. Make sure you put the time in your diary, because you're not going to make more money. You're not going to fix the problems by booking an appointment at the dentist and not turning up. If you've got toothache and you book an appointment at the dentist, show up to the dentist. Get examined, get checked out, and work out what the options are. Just booking an appointment at the dentist doesn't fix the pain. Thank you for sitting and watching us. Hopefully this gives you a bit more of an idea and a bit more of an understanding of what you can expect and potentially whether we can help you. It is never something that people enjoy paying us for beforehand. But when people finish the course, the program, once we've built the system, whether it's done with you, done for you, done by you, whatever stage it is at, with the work that we build it, the conversations that we have, the training that we give you, the systems that we build, the processes we align with, the team that we help you train with, helping you find salespeople, whatever it is we do with you, after that point, the looking back after and realizing how valuable that was is one of the biggest parts of this. And we can't wait to see you on a call.